Welcome to 7DSystem, this is DMG, and this is the next video in our series exploring the mechanics of 7DSystem, and we're going to talk about story value and story value tokens. So if you like these videos, you need like access to the PDFs used to create this game and all the supplementary PDFs. You can get those at certain reward levels on patreon.com/7dsystem. And of course, help to support these videos. Now, story value is a numeric value that indicates how valuable a character is to the story or the overall game. So in my original homebrew version, these used to be luck points, but because they have a lot of story significance, I changed it to story value. So we'll go through all the different things that you can do with these, and of course how they are generated. Story value is divided up into ranks and points. So there are 5 points to each rank, and this is the same as we talked about character progression, where you gain experience and then you gain ranks on top of that. So if you want to find out more about that, have a look at the experience and ranks video. So you start with 0 ranks and 0 points in story value. Doesn't matter if you've used an alternative version of character creation, no matter how you created your character, you always start with 0 ranks and 0 points in story value. So each time the director decides that you've done something cool, or you've played your character well, or you've enhanced the story or the game for other players, you can be rewarded with a story value point. So each one of these, every time you've got 5 of those points, you've earned a new rank in story value. Also, for each session that a character has been played by the player, that character also gets awarded with a single story value point. So each time the character is played in a game, it earns a story value point, regardless of how long the session is. So even if it's a short session, they weren't there for very long, they weren't used very often in the session, they still get 1 story value point. So this brings me to story value tokens. So story value tokens are what you use to manipulate the mechanics of the game in your favor as a player. So at the beginning of the session, you get a number of story value tokens equal to your ranks in story value plus 3. So if you're starting out character and you've got 0 ranks, you get 3 story value tokens. If you've got 1 rank in story value, you get 4 story value tokens. 2 ranks, you get 5, etc., etc., etc. Each time you earn a story value point in the game, you also get another story value token. But at the end of the session, you forfeit all the story value tokens that you have, and in the next session, you start again with the number of ranks plus 3, and that's how many story value tokens you have. Now, these tokens can be cashed in to perform certain functions to help your character along. You can re-roll any roll. You can change any 2 that was rolled to a 1, which creates success. You can adjust any difficulty level by 1 point, either up or down. You can add or subtract 1 dice to a dice pool. You can heal 1 injury instantly or negate an injury. You can reduce fatigue by 1 point for 1 single roll. And you can perform an amazing success. Now, amazing success we will talk about in the next video, but essentially this is what other games would call a critical. Now, there's one other key component to story value tokens, and that's you can add things into the game. So for instance, if you are in a situation where you're walking through a dungeon and you are accosted by some creatures, and you have run out of ammunition, and you have run out of weapons, you can use a story value token to say, I find a club or a piece of wood in the passage. So you can add mundane items or standard weaponry that is likely to be there using a story value token. So you can actually help your character along by adding things to the game. So they can only be minor things. They can't be just, I find a potion of healing. You can't do that sort of thing. It has to be something mundane or something that is not, out of context, would not be terribly significant. So if you were not being attacked and you walk past a rusty old sword, you probably wouldn't pick it up. But in this situation, you would pick it up. So here you're able to actually create these sort of things. Now you can also spend story value ranks. Now, usually this is something you want to carefully consider because it takes a while to earn a rank, because you've got to get 5 story value points to earn a rank. But if you want, you can delete one rank and add it to any ability, skill, or expertise or specialty that you have. So instead of then having to gain experience in all of those, you can basically immediately take one rank of story value, delete it from that, and add it to any one of your abilities at any point during a rest session. And you can only do this once per session. Now, what you can also do with story value ranks, and this is, you'd have to consider it carefully, and you'd have to talk to the director about this, but you could spend an entire story value rank and create something like a town or an NPC that is beneficial to your character. So it could be a hometown, it could be a town where some of your relatives live, or it could be a contact, or it could be any one of these things. You inherit a house, or you inherit a farm, or something like that. You can actually spend the story value rank in order to achieve that. So this gives the player a little bit more power in the story to actually make changes that will help out their character. So that's story value and story value tokens. In the next video, we're going to talk about amazing successes and spectacular failures. Until then, I will see you either there or Facebook and Twitter /7DSystem. Thank you for watching.